It's a day we've been waiting for in the football fraternity in terms of Zambian football, where Zambia is facing Algeria in a very, very crucial game that is being played today at the Hero Stadium at 21 hours cut. And we're here as off the pitch crew to just give you a rundown in terms of the readiness of the game and what we think as in our opinions. And I'm your host, Amos, aka Amore. And I'm not alone today. We're a full squad. Angorapson is back from holiday. Angorapson, welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's always good to be back, and being a very, very important day, and this special show probably will give us a very, very good insight of what is likely to happen in 2100 hours tonight.
Augustine.
We return all the glory to the Most High God. We are waiting for 21 hours so that we see how the mighty Chipolo will brush aside Algeria.
Like, Angorapson is, I don't know if it's smiling. Angorapson, I'll start with you. How is this day very important to us soccer fans?
It's a very, very critical day for the Zambian fraternity, the Zambian soccer fraternity, in that we only have 2 games to probably decide our fate, and the journey starts tonight. And for me, tonight is a make or break encounter, and I am glad that Coach Mitchell has called all the players that we felt at some point needed to be part of the national team, so that we just deliver the results as we need to tonight. For me, when you look at the combination of the squad that is in camp and whoever is going to be given the opportunity to play the game today, I think we have a very, very good squad, and we are going to have a very, very good game. When you look at our opponents, Algeria, the defending champions of the continent, they are in for a very, very casual game, should I say, because with them, it's a done deal. Mm-hmm. They've qualified. They can afford to hold on to players that are based in Europe that are fearing Zambia as a hotspot for COVID. They can afford to stay away and probably just program themselves to go and have a game, the return game against Botswana. But I think over and above that, the squad that is here for Algeria is a very, very strong squad, regardless of who's there and who's not there, before we start discussing names with Augustine and yourself. Mm-hmm. But I think the critical thing is we are playing the African champions. That tag remains with them. And Zambia has missed out on AFCON a couple of times. We only have tonight to redeem ourselves as a country.
And before we start our discussion, for those who are just watching us, that's live on TV, you can tell your friends who are not able to watch us on TV that they can also watch us live. That's on Facebook. Just follow our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV. Like it, and you'll be able to watch us live. And before we get into our discussion, we'll just take a very short break, and we'll be back on the other side.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back, and for those who are just joining us now, you are watching Off the Pitch, the show that gives you nothing but the best in terms of soccer highlights here at Camnet TV, which is not just another channel. Augustine, I'll start with you. When we look at our national team, we have all the players that we cried for as fans, and it's now a task for one Mitchell to realize and make the best out of it. Looking at you, how do you rate our starting 11 for today?
I think if you look at Mitchell's, the squad that he has selected is a very, very strong squad, I must say. a very, very good, very solid defenders that are in camp. We have got midfielders that can defend and both and create. We have got fast wingers in the team that will create and provide the width for the team, and we've got strikers who are finishing. We look at Patson Daka, he's scored 20 goals so far this season. We've got Brian Mwila, he's doing very well for Beautycon in the short time that has been at Beautycon. And looking at the midfield, he has got he was doubtful, but I'm sure I will make the squad today. We've got Rally Warrior, we've got Cletus Chamachota, we've got Enoch Mwepu. A lot of creativity in that central midfield. If you ask me, any striker you dream to play with these kind of players because they are very, very creative. You have got the cool, calm, collected Nathan Sinkala. To me, he will be the key player. He will play a very, very big role in this encounter because one, he comes with experience. He has played these big games before. He has won the AFCON with Zambia. He comes with the calmness because you've seen in recent games, most of the times when we have got the ball in midfield, we try to rush into attack, and mostly we have been losing possession, and it has resulted into us conceding goals. And Nathan Sinkala is the kind of midfielder who just sit in front of the back four and dictate play. He's the kind of guy who will recycle the ball for Chipolopolo boys. I feel he will play very, very crucial role in this encounter. Probably he will play with Enoch Mwepu in central midfield. Mwepu can play the box-to-box kind of midfield. It's very, very interesting to see who Michu goes in at the heart of defense. We have conceded a lot of goals in these qualifiers. We need at least players that will defend the box very, very well, and a goalkeeper that will be very, very confident, because as a team you build confidence when you have got a very strong defense and the goalkeeper who you have got faith in. If you do not have that, it's always difficult going forward, because if you cannot just defend well, you struggle going forward. But I feel Michu has worked on those weaknesses, and this evening we'll see a very different Chipolopolo boys, I must say.
You know, before I come to you, Uncle Rapson, I think we can display the numbers on our screens, the ones that our viewers can use to call in and give us their view in terms of the game, which will be played tonight at 2100 hours, so that they give their views and maybe prediction and predict the best 11 that will start. Uncle Rapson, we saw the game that we played in Algeria where we were hammered 5-0. For me, I felt like there were a lot of weaknesses that costed us on that game. Where do you think we can improve for today's game?
See, Amos, when you talk about the 5-0, it will bring us back to what the interview was yesterday. It's the same 5 that were being discussed way back, and now we are focusing on the game tonight, and we are here. And probably for me, I would rather we forget the 5-0 that we lost, because I don't know why you're not talking about the other time when we hammered them by 3-1.
No, but we are looking at the last meeting that we had with them, and where we can improve.
And I think for today, tables have changed, and when you look at the evolution of football, yes, they have evolved and they've been playing well. They've won the AFCON, but at the same time, I think when you look at our national team as well, I think this is the first time that is going to put experience and the inexperienced in one squad. And I'm only hoping that they have gelled enough. And when I look at how the decomposition of the defense is going to be tonight, I would love to, in my own opinion, to have, for example, in goals, I wouldn't want, I would pick Alan ahead of Sirio and Lamek. Alan Chiwe, for me, very outstanding. Sirio, he's okay, he's an upcoming goalkeeper, but I think because we only have one choice in goals, if I had an option of putting 2 goalkeepers in one game, I would have put both. But in my own opinion, really, I would call for Alan to start. When I look at the defense, right back, we have a couple of players, like Benedict is there, one of the best defenders we have in the Zambian league on the right flank. But I think for me, for today, I would rather we go for Lubambo Msonda on the right back. Why? Because Lubambo Msonda is one versatile player who can actually pick up a ball from defense, pass it on to the midfield, and make that overlap on the wing and provide that set piece that we need into the box for our top strikers to actually convert those chances into goals. He's got the speed and the agility to go up and down. He has the speed, he's young, he's got the speed, he can go up and he can come down. coming back to left back. Left back is a bit tricky today, very, very tricky. Zakaria Chilongo should have been on point, but unfortunately, he's out on suspension. And my opinion, left back. The other player who has the ability of attacking the same way the right back is Rodri Kabwe. I would prefer to have Rodri Kabwe on the left to attack and come back and defend. Those two players on the right and the left, the abilities they have to push up and come down is the perfect combination that we need to bring down these Algerians tonight.
Let's just pick this call, Ango Rapson. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Well, okay, how are you, sir?
I'm alright.
You are through to Off the Pitch. Your name and where you are calling us from?
I'm coming from Chibundu, I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay. How is Tulundu this, I don't know if I would say this afternoon or upcoming evening?
It's a little bit I just looking forward to this game today.
Okay, what's your comment towards the game?
Yeah, I know the team that has performed very good.
Okay.
This year will last the center is the staff and all the guys are so we need the first player. So I'm just happy with the starter about second.
Okay.
It will just depend on how the lineup, the starting lineup will be.
What's your prediction?
We'll beat them for 2-1.
Who will score the goals?
They'll be posted at the Liverpool.
Okay,
good,
thank you very much.
That's very positive.
That's a very, very positive mindset that we do.
Ango Rapson, already you've got someone who is supporting your back. One of the players you've selected in the starting 11, that's Luambo Msonda.
Yeah, let me just complete the defense and hear what
Augustine will say.
So for me, so my right back is Luambo, that I want to, for that special reason of him going up and down, because naturally at his club, he plays as an attacker sometimes, and sometimes he plays as a defender. So for me, that's the type of player we need to attack the Algerians. Because we only have 90 minutes to turn things around to appear at the next AFCON. If we can't utilize the 90 minutes and we probably get a draw, I'm telling you that your dreams will be shattered. So that is the kind of energy that we need on the right back. Same applies on the left back, where I've said I'm going for Rodri Kabwe. Centre backs. Centre backs, I'm neither here nor there, but I think I would go for Kabaso. He's skipper of the day, so his position is guaranteed as a centre back. Probably he'll be partnered with Tandy, either Tandy.
Tandy suspended.
Oh, Tandy suspended. He might be partnered with
Luka Banda.
Let's
No. Forget Luka Banda. For me, I would pick Mulanshi. Mulanshi can be a better centre back.
Okay.
Today, yeah. So when you have either Mulanshi or Adrian, I think I would go for Mulanshi. Clement can start with Kabaso. I don't know what your back four is before we go to the midfield.
I think to me, if I was Michu, which I'm not, because Michu is far much better than me. Michu, if I was Michu in this game, I wouldn't go with a back four, because we are trying to press Algeria and trying to put pressure on them, try and capitalize on their weaknesses, and that's in the flanks probably. And they say they're central pairing because they'll be having two debutants in that central defense. I would, if going playing. Ango Rapson was talked about Luambo Msonda. If you are playing a back three, I would go with Luambo Msonda. But if you were playing the back four, I would go with Benedict Chepesh, who is a natural defender, because it would be very, very tricky defending against Gazelle, who is probably one of their best players. He's a leading assist in Turkey with Besiktas. He's been playing very, very well. He's going to be a threat on the left or the right hand channel, because he always switches flanks. If I've got a call on the line.
Hello?
Yellow.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yellow.
Hello?
Yellow, yes, you are through to Off the Pitch. Your name and where you are calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Boadia from Germany.
Oh, okay. You can go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I'm very excited with the program.
Okay.
Thank you.
And in fact, my prediction is Zambia too.
Uh-huh.
And the guy was going to score is Patson Daka and and I'm telling you that today's game will be much excited, because I've seen the guys, they're in the high mood.
Yes.
That's the way it goes in Algeria.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy was coaching at that time, David. He underrated the players. Even to put it in the players, it was not good for him. At least the guy was calm. You can see the job here. Yeah, and you will see the miracle of today.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. So, Augustine, you were saying you'd rather go with Benedict Chepeche.
Yeah, if we were going to play in the back four, I would rather go with Benedict Chepeche at the right-hand side because he's a natural defender. He will give us the defensive side and the attacking side. Luambo Msonda probably defending is not that good as Benedict Chepeche, but he's good going forward. Defensively, a lot of question marks. I think you saw in Botswana when he played that position, it was the area which they targeted the most. And I would just play back three because we have conceded a lot of goals. It's better we go with three centre backs. Go with Adrian Chama, Kabaso Chongo, and Clement Mwape, like Uncle Robson I said, because they will give us that solidity. They would guide that box very, very well. And before Uncle Robson comes into the midfield, I'll go with a 4 in midfield.
Let's just pick a goal.
Hello.
Hello.
Yellow, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
We are okay. How are you, sir? Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Brian calling you from Senanga.
How is Senanga?
How is Kwahai?
Senegal is okay.
What's your take on the game that is being played today or tonight?
Yeah, no, it will be tough. Always, we go with our mother Zambia. I predict it will be 1.
That's positive.
In favor of us, right?
Yes, 3-1 in favor of Zambia, and the scholars will refer to Daka 2 goals, and then Enoch Mwapo 1.
Who's going to score for the Algerians?
Who is going to score for the Algerians?
Precisely to an own goal.
Who is going to score an own goal? Thank you very much for coming through.
How does the captain score an own goal?
Thank you.
I think for those who are just like catching up with the show, we are just giving you in terms of the build-up to the game that will be played tonight. That's at 2100 hours. In the table as it stands right now, with 4 games played, we've got Algeria, who is standing at 10 points, Zimbabwe at 5 points, and then we've got Botswana at 4 points, and lastly Zambia at 3 points, and we stand a chance to turn the tables around with the game that we are playing tonight. And gentlemen, before we proceed, there are 6 key players, like Algeria players, who are not with the team. Maybe I'll just mention a few. There is Mahrez, Benrahma, Figoli, Mendy, Rami, and Ismail. These are starters, key starters players. And how is this a boost to us?
Well, there are 2 things here at stake here. When you're analyzing the pros and cons of these particular players not having to play the game tonight, my focus will be on the reasons they are not coming. Of course, we've heard that Zambia is particularly a hotspot for COVID-19, and these players, their fear is that if they play in this particular game, they will have to be quarantined when they go back into England or in Europe, where they are actually based for them to. Okay, we have a call.
Okay, let's pick the call.
We'll pick it up from there.
Hello?
Yellow.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Yes, vamos.
Welcome to Off the Pitch, sir. Good afternoon. Who's on the line?
Yeah, this is Brian from Honduras.
Yes, Brian. How is Ndola this afternoon?
Well, Honduras is cool.
Okay, great. What's your take on tonight's game?
Anyway, drifting is mad. So, we can dream that we are winning, but we not winning a lot.
So what's your prediction?
I think one more draw will be better for Zambia.
A 1-1 or draw?
Yes. I think that's like the previous caller said. Not go for Zambia.
Who is going to score that own goal?
Yeah, that was Toko.
Wow.
So I guess.
And Patson Daka will score a group.
A fluke again.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming through.
We are going nowhere. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can assure you, will be the happiest man smiling after the game tonight. Looking at your prediction,
Oh, we are not dreaming. We are dreaming. You're dreaming.
you are going to wake up to reality, my brother.
Thank you very much for coming through. That's one of our callers giving his prediction to say they don't charge to dream, and we are dreaming.
Everybody's free and entitled to an opinion, which is the only thing that we live for, Nathan. And I think for me, in as much as we respect people's opinions, I think he's got a right to his own opinion.
Yeah, true.
But clearly, his opinion is that Zambia is going to
draw,
take away 1 point out of the possible 3, which is his opinion. And for me, we were on the floor discussing the 5 players, the 6 players that are not going to be in the starting 11 tonight. COVID-19, for me, I think, okay, forgive my thoughts. It's a blessing in disguise. For one simple reason, particularly when you're focusing to the Zambia national soccer team qualifying to the AFCON. Why? These players are very, very critical to the Algerian team. And these players who are missing tonight's game are playing on Monday against Botswana. Because the game will be back in Algeria. So they are featuring for Algeria in the game against Botswana. So tonight we have every chance to take advantage of the absence of these guys. And the same applies to the knowledge Msonas of the Zimbabwe national soccer team who are playing right now as we speak. Their game is on against Botswana. They are only playing that particular game because it's in Botswana. When they go back home on Monday, they will not play a part in that game because they have to go back.
So it's a tricky one because of COVID.
It gives us an advantage.
Okay. Let's do a quick run through. We ended at the defense, but let's do a quick run through in terms of the midfield and the midfield and the attacking.
Augustine was on the point that he wanted to use 3 centre halves to probably protect the goalkeeper, defend the 18-yard box, and probably have more attack. His thoughts are clearly the same thoughts I have. Why am I picking on Rodri Kawe and Lubambo? It's because of their pace. They're able to go and join the midfielders in attack.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Your name and where you are calling us from?
Well, my name is Lorelanji Sombe. I'm calling you from Ireland.
Oh,
From where?
That's Lorelanji. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm finding
Lorelanji, how are you?
Yes, what's your take on tonight's game? I know you are calling from home.
Okay, I feel we need to take advantage of this. You see, Benrahma, he's married. Carry this up, carry the game. And we saw the tournament that they won. That was they won. They were the attacking players. Mahrez was literally scoring all the goals, creating with Benrahma. And these guys are not there today. We have our full squad. We've got players, even the players that are missing in the other fixtures, today they are there. So there's no reason why we shouldn't win this game.
Yeah.
I'm not even giving Algeria a chance. Don't even spoil it for one. We need too far.
That's very positive.
With a big margin.
Yes, and my boy Patrick is too good.
Oh, good. Secharanji wanted to give me his prediction when I was coming to the studio. Is he able to come on the line?
I think the line is breaking a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for coming through. That's the prediction. He's giving it clearly and straightforward, saying they don't have their attacking players, but we have all the bullets in our ammunition.
Yeah, and you know, copper bullets don't miss when they are very, very organized.
So let's do a quick run through. Maybe let's finish the team.
Yeah,
let's go in the midfield.
Defenders. I think my thoughts and these thoughts are the same. The two right back, the right back and the left back, Lubambo and Rodrick, if at all they are starting, they have the capacity to go up and join the midfielders and the strikers in attack. That leaves Nathan Sinkala dropping 2 steps backwards to join the 2 centre halves to make the 3 that he's talking about once they go up. So for me, that will act very well because the experience of Nathan playing as a central defending midfielder on number 6. Once these two, the right flank and the left flank, go up, he's able to stay, and these 2 centre halves can actually go a bit wide to give him space to man the box right ahead of them.
Okay.
So for me, the idea in tonight's game is to attack as much as possible. Being defensive minded is going to kill us. Micho has done that a couple of times, where a simple game at Chan, he's going with 2 central defending midfielders in one match. The game was lost against
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your name and where you are calling us from?
It is Emmanuel calling from Kasama.
Emmanuel, how's Kasama?
Kasama is cool.
What's your prediction on tonight's game? Sorry.
Actually, Zambia is going to beat Algeria 3-1.
Who are your scorers?
Of course, Patson Daka, who goes FS game 1.
Oh, great. Would you like to give us your idea of who should start in the squad?
Actually, I don't have that much.
Okay, then thank you very much for your prediction.
You're welcome.
So, Angorapson, you are saying when Nathan Singara drops 2 steps behind, it makes the back 3.
It makes the back 3 whilst we are in attack. So he's going to be playing a very, very cautious game. He's not going to be attacking that much. Probably what Mitchell is likely to do, Cletus and if at all they'll start.
No, you predicted.
So if he's going to use Cletus and Enoch right ahead of Nathan, that will create a lot of creativity in midfield. Those 2 players are very, very creative. So for me, the idea of Augustine will come into play because these 2 wingers will be going up, the 2 left back and the right back, they'll be going up, leaving the 2 centre halves defending, and Nathan gladly waiting to help the centre backs just in case of a breakdown up there. Augustine.
We've got a call on the line.
Pick the call, girl.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Off the Pitch here on Community TV.
Afternoon.
Yes, where are you calling us from?
From Mukushi.
How is Mkushi this evening?
It's very fine. Just in the way. Okay.
What's your prediction?
The prediction is 1.
Come again?
2-1.
Oh, who
that's
is
nice.
your scorer? Okay. Then the line is a bit bad. It's breaking. So we've heard a lot of people are crediting Patson Daka to score for us.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tricky for Patson Daka because he's very well known by the Algerians and he's one of the players they have highlighted and they have made the special plan just for Patson Daka. So going into this encounter, me personally, I went with a 3-4-3 formation so that we can try and have the right balance in both in defense and in attack. If I go with the 4 across midfield, I would go with Luambo Msonda and Gampani Lungu as my wing backs because these are wingers who have got the energy to go up and down and they have played the full back row in their respective clubs. I would go with these full backs.
Let's just take that call.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Off the Pitch. Who's on the line? We can hear you. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, please tell us your name and give us your contribution.
That's lovely, Ginishas. What's your thoughts for the game?
Yeah, we'll carry it a bit for the evening. One goal.
So it's 1-0.
Huh?
We win by 1-0.
Yes.
Goal scored by.
Oh no, great. Thank you very much for that contribution, my brother Ignatius. Okay, great, thanks. So now, I think what we need to understand here, sorry to come in, what we need to understand here, the Algerians have probably focused on Patson throughout their training sessions. Everything they are doing, their focus is on cutting down on supply of balls to Patson Daka because they know Patson Daka's capabilities in terms of his finishing ratio. His goal ratio right now, he's scored more goals than the games he has played in the league that he's in Austria. Mm-hmm. So I think for me, Patson Daka should just be a center of attraction, pulling out that extra defender so that probably they are going to assign 2 people to Mane. That gives us an ability of one of our midfielders to actually go and cause more confusion in the box and score. Very high chances that Patson Daka might even not be on target tonight.
But you have an assist.
Everybody is focusing on him. So this is an opportunity for our midfielders and our wingers to actually go in and create those spaces that Patson Daka will probably become an assist giver tonight.
Augustine, break down through the midfield.
I think if we go with 4 across the midfield, like I said, Gampani Lungu and Luambo Msonda will provide us with that. Because one thing about the Algerians, probably they'll play 4-3-3 formation, and their 3 forwards, they will not track back Luambo Msonda and Gampani Lungu. But Luambo Msonda and Gampani Lungu, when we lose the ball, they'll go back into that defensive shape and will be more of a 5 in defense. If we can have Enoch Mwepu and Nathan Senkala in central midfield as our 2 midfielders, Enoch Mwepu probably can play as a box-to-box because he has got that energy. Nathan Senkala will just sit himself in front of that back 3 because knowingly that Luambo Msonda and Gampani Lungu will always try and push up to try and get the goals and for Chipolopolo. And up front, I would go with Patson Daka, Cletus Chamachota, and Augustine Mulenga. Why do I go with Augustine Mulenga? Because Augustine Mulenga is your natural wide player. You play him on the right, you just stay on the right hand side, you not attacking side, and you have Patson Daka in as your number 9. What does that give you? Augustine Mulenga will probably isolate the left back in their left back because you stay wide in wide areas. Then it allows Patson Daka to find the pockets of space in between the 2 centre backs and the 4 backs. Cletus Chamachota probably will try and play a little bit as a number 10 because he will not stay on the left hand side. He will try and come closer to Patson Daka. Then he will find a little bit of space and joy. If we get into those wide areas, at least we put a lot of balls into the box. We've stand a chance of scoring against Algeria because they are they are playing 2 debutants at the heart of defense, which is do we put pressure on them as early as the 10 minutes so that we make them uncomfortable, so that they do realize that international football is not very forgiving because if we allow them to settle, if we allow them to settle, they will grow in confidence. But we have to put more pressure on them so that they make a couple of mistakes. We have got Patson Daka. He plays for Jordan March at Red Bull Salzburg. And one thing about Jordan March's side in Salzburg is all about intensity and pressing. Patson Daka can be that guy who press the defenders, put them under pressure, and Enoch Mwepu would join in, and Nathan Senkala would push his back 3 further up the field, and we will try and compress and don't allow them to come out of their area and try and capitalize on the mistakes that they create, because teams press for 2 reasons. It's either you press so that you can win back possession, or you press to score a goal. Us will be pressing to score a goal so that they make a mistake in their own final third and will capitalize. Cletus Chamachota is one of those guys who pick the pockets of spaces and get the goals for Chipolopolo.
Your answer, Ngorabza.
Well, Augustine is on point, and it's like he's actually visualizing the game is being played and things are happening. For me, if we can do what he's saying, and hopefully Micho is also going to read the game the way we need to be reading the game. We've got a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Luansha.
How's Luansha this evening?
No, Luansha.
What's your prediction concerning the game that is being played tonight?
The game
Say that again.
Hello? I think the line is a bit bad.
The line is a bit bad from Luansha. If you can just call us back again, you get through and give us your contribution. Like we were in the middle of the discussion. Mm-hmm. If Micho is able to read the game and use the players according to their strengths, we are likely to crack down these Algerians. 2 debutants in a big game like this one really gives us an advantage. The 5 are not playing. We have got 2 players that are playing for the first time at this level of football, and we have the experience from our end playing against the 2 inexperienced defenders in their squad. So we are likely to have an advantage that we need to capitalize. And once the debutants clock 20 minutes in the game becomes very stable.
And you're not asking questions of them.
What you need to do is the first 10 minutes, we've got to be on them.
Okay.
They need to realize the pressure that is coming from Zambia to make them very, very uneasy. We'll force them to start committing fouls. And once we have 1, 2, 3 defenders committing fouls in the first 10, 15 minutes, they are risking a booking. And for me, the young players that they have brought, they are likely to probably commit offenses when you knock on their door a couple of times in a very, very short space of time. If we get into 20 minutes and our pressure is not being felt, they are likely to be very stable and start planning on attacking us. And once they get into the attack mode, I can assure you that the North Africans have two advantages tonight. If the stability is there by the strikers, we've got a goal.
Let's just pick this call. Yellow. Yellow.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hey, you're the first lady to call. Your name and where you're calling us from. Come again. Yellow. Try to cut and call again. The network is a bit bad. Angorapson, we've lost that caller. You are saying once we press towards the debutants, defenders of Algeria, we will make it difficult for them.
Yeah, we are likely to make it very, very difficult for them. In that, you see, these are young players that have come, and you know they are playing the experience of. I think for me, Daka has moved away from a raw player,
upcoming player.
From an upcoming player, he's now a complete player who can cause a lot of difficulties with the European defenders as well as the African defenders. With or without the experience, he's gotten to a stage where he's capable of dismantling defenders at that level. So when it comes to this particular game and the approach, we've got to attack those two debutants and their defense. If we miss that opportunity of doing that, very high chances that, you know, Algerians have an advantage in this game. In one space, the timing favors them the most. I don't know why we had to play this game at 21 hours at the expense of our colleagues, our neighboring Zimbabwe having a game.
We've got a call. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from?
We are getting
We are
feedback
getting
from
feedback from your TV set. But we you're calling from Mansa.
Yes.
How is Mansa?
No, right, go.
Okay, you can go ahead with your contribution towards the game. Come again? I think network is a bit bad. Try to cut the line and call again. I think for all those who are trying to get hold of us, you can try to reduce the volume on your TV set because we are getting feedback from here. Angorapson, you were saying something.
You see, for me, the timing of this match gives an advantage to the North Africans. Games being played at 21 hours, I think gives them the advantage to, because they are used to playing that late. For our squad, I think I can only hope that they've been training in the night and they are ready and they are coping to the time of playing that late. I don't understand why CAF, these two crucial encounters, of course I know the last game of the groups is the one that they normally put at the same time to avoid match fixing. But even at the level of where the groups are, most of the groups, I was analyzing the groups on the African continent, the second last games are very, very tricky, and you know what CAF could have done, probably they should have checked, and probably if I was one of the people that are organizing these fixtures, I would have said all the groups should play at the same time. Why? Because match fixing is likely to happen.
Yeah, true.
The Botswana game and the Zimbabwe game
starting
will be
at
kicking off
18
in the next 10 minutes, and Zambia will be playing at 21 hours. The outcome of that game can actually have a very, very serious influence in what the 21 hours game would be. Because imagine if the Zimbabweans carry the day in advance.
Let's just pick this last call for the day. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Your name and where you're calling us from? Oh, okay. You can go ahead with your contribution towards the game.
I think 2-1.
We are winning 2-1.
Yeah.
Who is scoring?
But definitely.
So the scorers are Red Bull Salzburg.
Salzburg, yeah. Salzburg will win it for Zambia, I'm sure.
Anyway, thank you very much for the contribution.
Yeah.
So Angorapson, you can.
For me, it's just the timing. I know CAF have their own rules to follow, but I think this particular game, I would have loved they played at the same time, because the impact of the Zimbabwe and Botswana game that is kicking off 3 hours before we kick our game off at 21 hours tonight, depending on the results, it could actually mean that we are going in for a friendly encounter, a very, very close encounter, because depending on the scores, for argument's sake, if we go mathematics, if Zimbabwe beats Botswana by a lot of goals,
we are finished.
Exactly. It means we have to go and beat them with a very huge margin beyond their result, because they would have gone above us, and all these permutations will start coming in. But over and above that, I was discussing the timing. So the time at 21 hours, in terms of visibility, favors the North Africans. But because Zambia is Zambia and Chipolopolo, I think we are equal to the task. We will come and show the Algerians that Zambia is not a pushover in this particular encounter. And this is the correct time. When you look at the 6 players that are missing from the Algerian squad who are very, very influential, I think we are on point and we are going to make a difference as a country.
And looking at the Algerians, I think to me the biggest miss has been Asia Mandi. He's probably one of the best defenders in Africa. He's a leader. He's got vast experience. He's very, very solid at the back. I think they won't miss much of Riyad Mahrez because he's just an attacking player. And having said that, they are coming here in Zambia to protect their unbeaten run. They have gone 22 games unbeaten. If they draw this game or win it, they go level with France and Germany on 23 games. They're chasing the 35 by Brazil, which is a very, very tough landmark to achieve, if I must say. If you look at Algeria, I think probably their dangerous player will be Bounedjah. He scored in the final against Senegal. He played the game well. He played in that tournament. He scored that only goal in the tournament. A lot of people started criticizing why was he starting, because he wasn't scoring goals. But what he does is that he's very, very good at bringing others into play. He holds on to the ball. He links the midfielders and attack very, very well. They have got Gazelle, who was probably didn't do well at Leicester when he moved from Monaco to Leicester, but he's doing very, very well in Turkey. They have got Edin Guardiola in central midfield. Former Watford is very, very energetic and is the kind of box-to-box midfielder. He will give Enoch Mwepu a very, very good run in midfield. I must say, this Algerian outfit, in these 22 games that they have played, they have scored 40 goals and conceded 13. So they do not concede a lot of goals. That's something that we have to have in mind. We cannot allow them to score first, because if they score, it will be a tall order for Chipolopolo. So what should Zambia do? We have to take the game to them. I think Patson Daka will be very, very crucial in this encounter, not just for the goals, but how does he retain the ball for Chipolopolo boys? If you play the ball, he's the kind of player whom you can bounce the ball into, support and attack from there, because he's going to be probably attacking out. They will put us under pressure here and there. How do we defend? We just defend off our box, because in the previous games we have allowed teams to attack us, and we've gone back into the box, and it's not very, very good to defend in your box. It's better you defend on top of your box. And Kabaso Chongo, probably now you need to show why Mitch was given him the second chance. He should be the leader, should be the rock in that central defense. And I probably think one of the guys from the bench who might just change the game for Zambia is Rally Walia. A lot of people have not talked much about Rally Walia, but I think Rally Walia is very, very keen in this encounter. Be someone who manages to pick a pass, because you get into the final third and you manage to pick a pass. Rally Walia, he might be that guy who will need to call from the bench to try and change the game for Zambia.
Maybe before we come in.
Augustine is talking about, I've followed a couple of games that he has played for Simba FC, and he always comes from the bench really, and he creates that impact for Simba. If he can replicate that in the national team, well and good. He's gone into Simba, he's probably failed to break into the starting 11. He's neither here nor there in most of the games, and for me, but every time he comes off the bench for Simba, he always makes that difference. And if you can replicate that, like Augustine has said, it will be a very, very good addition to the squad. These are games that I also say, if I had an opportunity of putting in another sub who's very good at set pieces, probably these are big games that Kelvin Mwanga Kampamba also performs. Yeah. This is a player who he's been in a shell of his own in the last few matches that we have played as a country. He's been found wanting a couple of times. And I think opportunities that favor that guy are opportunities such as today on the big stage. if he comes off the bench, those set pieces, the type of passes he has, unfortunately, it's very sad to say this. He's had opportunities to play and provide those assists. But unfortunately, we had a very, very blunt striker in Micho's option in Emmanuel Chabola, all the games that he has played. But this is the time when those set pieces will be landing on the correct strikers and the correct midfielders to actually finish off. The ability that he has are very good for such a big game if he comes off the bench.
Let's look at someone who is busy. We haven't spoken of the two players that were dropped for I don't know which reason, who is Klings Kangwa and Evans Kangwa.
Our focus is on the players that are
reasons based known by Mitch why he dropped the players. I think it's a shame that we don't have King Klings and Evans Kangwa. They give us a different dimension because they are technically very good. They are very, very good players. They can play in tight games like this because there won't be much space in today's game. So you need players who can play in those little pockets of space that they find and try and create for Chipolopolo boys. It's very unfortunate that we do not have them, but having said that, we have got Radi Wali, we have got Cletus Chamachota. Those are the same type of players because they are very, very creative. They like to get on the ball and pass it. And I think all we need to do is we need to press Algeria. We do not need to give them time and space on the ball. If we press Algeria for first 10 minutes, we put them under pressure, they start going long, then we realize now the game is in our hands and we can control it from there.
Let's hear your quick predictions before we get to the end of the show. I'll start with you, Augustine.
It's going to be a very, very interesting encounter. Zambia will create a lot of chances, I believe, and will score 2 goals and beat them by 2-0. Cletus Chamachota will be on the score sheet.
Ango Rapson.
He's sitting on the fence. He's sitting on the fence.
Well, realistically speaking, I'm proud of my country. Very proud of my country, and I would want the best for them. And even tonight, we can only wish them well. And for me, really, as they go into tonight's game, wearing this shirt should give every player pride to fight for the country, to fight for Mother Zambia. These are the times when I miss the late Dennis Iliwewe when they're talking about players and giving their 110% in every game. Tonight is one night that we need players to be very focused, very determined, go an extra mile individually. Because remember, there will be no spaces in this game. These guys are playing, they normally play a very compact game. They don't concede goals as much as we expect to score these predictions that we are busy talking about, saying 3 goals, 2 goals. These guys are very compact in defense. They rarely concede goals. So for me, if we play a pressing game where everybody is able to push up, create that space between the strikers, the midfielders, and the defenders, and the gap is so close, it gives us an advantage as a country. Why? Because we are now going to exploit the flanks and create those set pieces that we need for one Patson Daka. But I can assure you, Patson Daka will rise to the occasion tonight, and Myers probably. I will go for my prediction after you are done.
I think the most key thing in today's game is, like Ango Rapson said, we need to press Algeria, because if we do not press them, they've got enough quality to try and hit us in any way, because they can go long, they can play on a counter, they are very, very dangerous. So what should the boys do? Let's press Algeria, let's create attacking overloads, and when we create those attacking overloads, make sure we find the spare player in those attacking overloads. I believe Cletus Chamachota will be one of those spare players in attacking overloads, because he does it so well to pick those little pockets of space and will link up play between the midfield of Vino Kumepo, Nathan Zingala with Patson Daka, and that will be very, very key. Augustine Mulenga should start for me, will provide us with the width, which is going to be very, very good.
And his pace.
Yes.
He's shown great improvement, actually, Augustine,
under Ben McCarthy.
Games that he has played under Ben McCarthy. I've seen him rise to the occasion. Even the last game that he played before they came, I think they won by a goal to 0, and his contribution to that squad, like Augustine, like his namesake is saying, his rise to his comeback in terms of career progression is on the right path under Benny McCarthy. And for me, really, if he's able to replicate that, the energy that he puts in when they are playing back in their leagues, if everybody is going to contribute that kind of energy, will be good to go in this particular game. What we just need to do, let's respect Algeria as a country. They are defending African champions. that respect, let it remain on paper. When we go on the pitch, they are 11, we are 11, head to head. We have to make a difference tonight and just attack them. Once we give these guys spaces, I know how these are the North African teams play. If you give them pockets of spaces, like you leave the front line very, very far away from the midfielders, and the midfielders are very, very far away from the defenders, those particular spaces, I can assure you, they will be ringing.
To be danger.
It's very dangerous if we do that. If we press all of us, close those gaps and go, we will not allow them to be playing. What they'll start doing is probably they'll be playing a game which they've never played, of hitting the balls over the midfield, which is very, very unfortunate if they take that route. It gives us the advantage of winning all the aerial balls from behind and starting the game on the ground. What we should avoid is exactly what I've been seeing in the past, where all the balls, when we're under pressure, I think at Chan, you remember the game we played against Morocco, where every game that we start from the back,
it's a long ball.
It's a long ball. Every game we start from the back, it's a long ball. This is where I miss Coach Perimtap from Power Dynamics. He's very clear with his defenders, very clear with his goalkeepers. Every time we have the ball, the next thing you should think about is before you kick, let it go to your player, not in the air. Once you float it in the air, it always becomes an advantage to the defender who's facing the ball, and you have to stop the ball facing your goal before you put it down and turn back and start attacking. So for me, let's build from the back, create those passes, let the midfielders pick the ball and turn and give assists to the strikers. By so doing, you are not denying the midfielders access to the ball. They actually enjoy more if you get the ball in midfield and turn and pass it over to the wings and push up to go and provide the support that you need. Even when there's a breakdown, they feel the responsibility of actually closing those spaces and defending together. It's very hating. I've played football before at a very good level, by the way.
And you are a very rough man.
Of course, yeah, I'm still rough sometimes. So when you start pushing balls above the midfielders, I know the feeling they have. It's a situation where every ball is going above the midfielders. So when there's a breakdown, the midfielders feel lazy because their job is like basically you've put them as defenders in midfield. Why? Because when we have the ball starting from the back, we are failing to pass the ball to them for them to play, become creative and turn and face and give the assist to the attackers. So once we do that, let the midfielders get involved and create those passes that we need to break down the Algerians, and we are going to do the right thing once that is done.
Your final remarks, Augustine, in 30 seconds.
I think it's going to be an interesting encounter. Probably we'll see Algeria play with a very, very high line. They've always done that. And if you're Patson Daka, you dream of teams playing a high line against you. So if you give the ball to Enoch Mwepu and Kleta Sama, they know the ball to play. They don't even have to look. They know they're going to find Patson Daka in the final third. I personally believe Polo boys will carry the day by 2-0 because we have it's all to play for us, and for them they're just here to just fulfill these fixtures and just switch
and defend there and beaten run.
Yes.
To defend. Ango Rapson, your final remarks in 30 seconds.
I will probably go for a scoring draw. A scoring draw. We'll play our game. I would want Zambia to win.
And they will play their game.
And for me, my comfort will be on a scoring draw. I know we are going to be on the score sheet, but the ability of the Algerians, I don't think they can play this game for 90 minutes without scoring a goal. So I'm going for a scoring draw. If we win, great news for me. But I think from all the angles that I've checked this game and checked the statistics and looked at the players and looked at the game, I think Zambia is under pressure. We need it more as a country than they need it.
I think due to time, and because we also have to prepare to go to the stadium right now and cover the game, which is starting at 2100 hours. And the previous 5 competitive games that Zambia has made with Algeria, we've won 2 times and lost once, scored 4 goals. And Algeria has won 3 times and scored 9 goals. So when we win tonight, it will make us even with Algeria. And I want to thank everyone who took time to call in and give their contribution in terms of the prediction and what their best 11 would be, though a lot of people just called to say their contribution in terms of the scoreline. But anyway, we will meet again. That's on Saturday at 12:45 hours here, same place, but not same time.
There's BeautyCon tomorrow.
And there's BeautyCon tomorrow. Ango Rapson is just giving an update, but due to time, we'll see you as we go and cover the game. Bye bye for now. See you on Saturday at 12:45 hours with other sports update. We're out.